Hey guys, welcome to another For the Painter Good YouTube video, and today we're going to look at the final 1000 point army list that I'm going to do here for the summer previews, which is going to be for the Imperial fists. Now, just a quick heads up guys, if you do want me to go back and do a Salamanders one, just let me know. I've just decided not to do a Salamanders one because finihsed is already out at this point, so it feels a bit counterproductive to go back when people might have already started their lists. But if you guys are really interested in actually me doing a Salamanders army, or even like a spin-off, like I like Black Dragons for example as well, they're such a good successor chapter, just post it down in the comments below, let me know, and I'll put it back on the list to get it done then and that kind of thing. But kicking off with today's video anyway, we're going to go to the star of the show in that case, which is going to be the Imperial fists, and in particular it's going to be this gentleman right here, Darnath Lysander. Now we're in a kind of unusual position here with Lysander in the sense that Lysander actually already has not only a model in 40k, but he's also got rules. He's already in 10th edition in that case. So we're kind of in the unique position where actually I can build a list with him already included based on his current points value. So I thought that was kind of interesting in that case. So let's actually, with the other two, I don't know their points values, I don't know their rules, I don't know what they can join. So let's build a list this time round as if his rules won't change, but maybe he's just getting an upscale. I'm sure they're going to do some kind of tweaks and changes to his rules. finihsed got the same treatment where he got tweaks and changes, but the overall rules were relatively similar. And then on top of that then as well, I don't think his points values changed very drastically either in that case. So we can kind of work with what we've kind of got here at the moment. But just a quick moment here to look at how great Lysander looks here in that case. I mean, he looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't he? Classic stoicism of the Imperial fist, so good. That shield is absolutely monstrous as well. It's absolutely fantastic looking. I really like it. The cape slung over the shoulder as well, I really like that, where they do the cape pinned on the front of one of the shoulders and then draped across the back. It really suits Terminator plate as well, and I particularly like this one with the helmet. The helmet looks great. I wish we could see more Terminator captains with their helmets on because I think they look really good. It just cuts a much more imposing figure, I think. I myself am definitely going to get Lysander, but I'm going to convert him to a Crimson Fist. He'll still be Lysander for all intents and rules purposes, but for me he's going to be a Crimson Fists Terminator Lysander basically in that case. Make of that what you will. I'm really looking forward to getting them. Actually, all the fist iconographies and everything, they're going to just look so good. So anyway, now that we're into this, I'm going to just jump into the list then in that case. But I do just want to say one thing as a caveat from the get-go. I have broken my own rules a little bit in one sense. In the previous two lists, I've managed to be, 1,000 points or 995 or anything like that. I broke my rule and I went to 1,005 points this time. But my thinking behind it is actually in this list we actually do have Lysander. So actually in that sense it's not like we're doing 1,000 points plus the character. This is 1,000 points with the character involved then in that case. So let me know, do you want me to go back and redo the list? Do you want me to do a Crimson Fists list up? Actually in that case it might be an incredibly similar list if I'm going to be honest with you. But without further ado, let's get into our list and we'll have a quick look. So of course, we are going to start off with the main man himself, Darnath Lysander, who is going to be our warlord for this army. So there's a lot going on with Lysander if we're going to take him at his rules at the moment then in 10th edition. He's a Terminator first of all, by the way, and if the new model is anything to go by, he's going to be awesome to use. We don't know if they'll tweak his rules yet at this point in time. At this point in time, by the way, for me, is the 28th of August in that case. So his hammer, by the way, is exceptional. Really good. 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 10, AP -3, flat 3 damage with devastating wounds in there as well. That is very good. Very good, very strong, very powerful and that kind of thing. Devastating wounds are always good. Maybe he could do with an attack or two more. finihsed, I think, got a slight kind of side grade to his melee weapon, so I don't know if we'll see the same thing with Lysander. But if you're buying the model, you're obviously going to put him in whatever army list you run, no matter what, basically, and that kind of thing. So, his abilities are really good. He actually doesn't obviously have a ranged profile, by the way, because he obviously has that enormous shield in the place of a Stormbolter, by the way. And I think we can all agree this shield is magnificent. Probably second only to the Lion. And he's got the Emperor's shield, so it's a close second in that case. But in terms of his abilities, he's really good. He's got Deep Strike because he's obviously a Terminator. We all know I love a good Deep Strike, to be honest with you. I always think it's really good in that case. And we're just going to have a quick look at his datasheet abilities then in that case. So the first one is the Icon of Obstinacy, which is while this model is leading a unit, each time an attack targets that unit, if the strength characteristic of that attack is greater than or equal to the toughness of that unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll here. So that's really good. Obviously, that's very much in keeping with the Imperial fists and that kind of stuff. They are the masters of the fortress and that kind of thing. So I like to imagine that the Icon of Obstinacy is actually his shield, which obviously is so, daunting in that case that it really does level the playing field a bit as well. And Terminators are already toughness 5 as well. Like Lysander's toughness 5 with the 10-man group of Terminators as well. That's going to be really good in terms of leveling that playing field. So anything that's like anything from strength 6 up to strength 11 will wound you on 4s. Anything from strength 12 and up will be brought down to 5s. So that's really good in that sense. Do you know, that way it's only literally, nothing will wound you on anything better than a 5. So I thought that was really good as well. Obviously we've got Rampart next. I actually think Rampart is the name of his shield, actually, now that I say that. I'm not entirely sure. Full disclosure, guys, I actually don't know a lot about Lysander, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. I know he's obviously like chapter master of the Imperial Fists, he's obviously a huge character in the name of that and that kind of thing. But yeah, actually I don't know a lot about the lore of him. If you can direct me to any books to read about him, please do. I would be very keen on reading them actually and that kind of thing. I haven't actually read too much Imperial Fists lore outside of the Horus Heresy, obviously, which is a whole other ball game in that case. But we've got Rampart then as the next ability. Once per battle at the start of any phase, this model can use this ability. Until the end of that phase, the model has a 2-up invulnerable save. So he becomes a walking tank. And that's so good, so strong. A unit of Terminators with this would be absolutely amazing then in that case. Now, this model has a 2-up save, by the way. So that's the important part to read, and I might have fluffed that in 1 or 2 of the previous videos, but that means specifically it's only him that gets that. So it's best used when you think he's going to take damage or when he's on his own effectively here. So really good again. It makes an already very tough Terminator even tougher. So it's a nice little redundancy if you do lose the squad, because obviously the Icon of Obstinacy only works when you're leading a unit. So Rampart is a good way to actually cancel out then any damage you might take then in that case. And the last ability then is Inspiring Commander. If you include this model in your army, until the end of the battle, non-character models in Terminator, Assault or Terminator squads from your army have an objective control characteristic of 2 while they are not battle shocked. So that's really good. Much in the way of Caven Shrike did for our Raven Guard with the Jump Assault Intercessors, we're going to tap into this as well, basically, and that kind of thing. They are the wall. This is the Imperial Fists. He is very much in keeping with the fluff of the Imperial Fists. He is the wall. He is the unbreakable wall that will stand and soak up everything for you, or as much as he humanly can, before he will perish. Transhumanly can, I suppose, in that case. But that is Lysander. There's not really too much else to talk about with him. He is an awesome character. I really like that new model, to be honest with you. It's so good. I can't wait to get him and paint him Crimson Fist blue. It's going to be really good. Let me know in the comments, are you guys going to convert him and use him for any Imperial Fist successors? Obviously, we've got a few different good successors for the Imperial Fists here that aren't obviously like Codex supplements and that kind of stuff. So let me know what chapter you're going to make them for, or are you just going to do them as Imperial Fists because, vanilla is a good flavour. Now guys, our next character in this case is actually going to be a Space Marine Captain. One thing I actually forgot to mention at the start of the video, guys, and it's kind of a unique position in this sense, is that in this video I really like the Imperial Fist's combat patrol as a starting point for this army. I think it's really good. I think it rounds the army out quite well, and I would only really add a couple of other bits to it, to be totally honest with you. Plus, by the way, it has the amazing company heroes kit in it, basically, and that kind of thing. So I am going to put the contents of this combat patrol in this army, because I actually just think it's a really strong starting point here in this case. Now that'll kind of inform you as to what I'm going to go through as part of the list, but I do just want to talk about each thing individually here and that kind of thing, and just give it its own time in the light as well, and it'll kind of inform the decision then, I think, in that case. So we're starting here with the Space Marine Captain, who is of course in that box then as well in that case. He is just a generic Space Marine Captain. He is a very Marine-esque body, 6-inch move, toughness 4, 3 up save, 5 wounds, 6 up leadership, 1 OC, and a 4 up invulnerable save. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's Space Marine Captain. Obviously he's got a variety of ranged weapons, none of which are particularly outstanding, to be honest with you. None of them are going to set the world on fire, but paired with a good squad, he could do a nice bit of damage for you in that case as well. He's obviously got a few melee options that he can go with. Personally, if you want to keep with a fluff and you want to keep with your Imperial Fist theme, give him the Power Fist. Just give him the Power Fist. Just make life easy for yourself. I'm going to do exactly that, to be honest with you, with mine. I'm going to give him the Power Fist because I have a few of the Power Fists with the actual fist on the actual on the armor, so I'm going to definitely do that for mine anyway in that case. But I would definitely, if you're keeping with the fluff and the lore, give him whatever armor you like. The Imperial Fists are skilled swordsmen. Sigismund was an Imperial Fist before he was a Black Templar. So, but in this case, just to touch on the Space Marine Captain, then in that case, obviously you can give him like a relic shield if you wanted to improve his save here. But obviously he can join a huge number of squads as well in that case. He can join Assault Intercessors, Blade Guard, Company Heroes, Hellblasters, Infernus Squad, Intercessor Squad, Stern Guard Veteran Squads, and Tactical Squads then in that case. So it's really good in that sense as well. Obviously he can join Blade Guard Squads only if he's got the Relic Shield and that kind of thing as well. And he can't join Hellblasters unless it's got a Plasma Pistol. So really good, really strong. I like, obviously, it gives him a lot of options. He obviously has the Rites of Battle as well, so he can reduce the cost of a CP by, or reduce the cost of a stratagem by 1 CP. And then he's obviously got his finest hour. I've seen a few people call it his happy birthday or something like that, his birthday or something like that, or the best day out or something like that. But it's once per battle at the start of the fight phase. Now this model can use this ability until the end of the phase. Add 3 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons equipped by this model, and they also have devastating wounds. So your Power Fist, if you went for the Power Fist option, by the way, is going up to 8 attacks with devastating wounds. Really good. And you're hitting on 2s, by the way, as well. So that's really tasty and that kind of thing. His Power Fist, by the way, just for anyone who obviously doesn't know, it's 5 attacks base, 2 up to hit, 2 up weapon skill, Strength 8, AP -2, 2 damage. Very good. Very good. A nice kind of standard captain profile here. He is only 80 points, so he's not a massive investment in our list. He's not even a tenth of the list, to be honest with you. But overall, yeah, it's a Space Marine Captain. He does what he says on the tin. He's going to look really cool in yellow if you do him in yellow, to be honest with you. I think mine is going to look really good in blue and red because I'm doing Crimson Fists. But yeah, I like him as our base point. And that's our 2 HQ characters in this case. So we've only got 2 of them in this list. More than we had in the Raven Guard one, but kind of similar to the Iron Hands one. The White Scars one seems to be the one I put the most characters in. So let's jump on and let's get into some battle line, because those of you that have watched the previous videos, I like to think you'll know what's coming up next. Hello darkness, my old friend, the Intercessors. Guys, you know what I like about Intercessors already, but I will just go through it just in case some of you guys haven't been here in the video. They're battle line units. I always think a little bit of each army should be comprised of battle line, to be honest with you. That's just my own personal opinion. I like them to look like they're keeping in lore. I like them to look like an actual army and that kind of thing. I think Battleline does a great job of doing that, whether that's Assault Intercessors, Tactical Marines, or normal Intercessors. It can be any of them, to be honest with you, for Space Marines. Even if you get ones that are quite close to them, you know, like infiltrators or something like that, all are really good. I do really like them, to be honest with you. But just intercessors, obviously they've got their bolt rifles and that kind of thing. Obviously you can give them the underslung grenade launchers as well. And the sergeant can obviously take kind of power weapons or whatever. For this particular army, guys, we're going to go with 2 squads of 5 of these, right? And I just think it really falls into the Imperial Fists kind of style where it's kind of the massed bolter fire. And I think the 2 squads of 5 is good from a tactical flexibility perspective as well. Because obviously we have our objective secured rule. By the way, just to run over it in case anybody doesn't know, if you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase and this unit is within range of that objective marker remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn. So otherwise known as sticky objectives in the game. It's really good. It's one of my favourite rules for the intercessors. I'm really glad they've got it, to be totally honest with you, and that kind of thing. But yeah, I really like them as a battle line unit. That massed bolter fire is really good. You've got 2 squads that can do sticky objectives then, which is really good. So I think that's particularly strong then in that case as well, because these guys can just screen out your backfield then as well. Or if you do need to run them forward, you know, maybe pinch a point in midfield and then run back, they can do that as well. So they offer that tactical flexibility as well in that case. Not to the same extent as we would have in our Raven Guard, but it just means you've got one less thing to worry about if you're holding an objective and that kind of thing. The other rule that they have is the target elimination, which is quite good. This is where we jump into our mass bolter fire rounds. So each time this unit was selected to shoot, it can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, add 2 to the attacks characteristic of bolt rifles equipped by models in this unit, and you can only select one enemy unit as the target of all these attacks. So that's really good. Again, just falling in line with the theme, massed bolter fire rounds. There is a bit of an argument, I think, in this army, rather than running it as 2 squads of 5, to run it as 1 big squad of 10. That is a good option as well, to be honest with you. My only thing is that's a bigger footprint to try and hide as well if somebody's brought like a shooting army, you know, like Tau or even Death Guard with their shooting as well and that kind of thing. I do think the 2 squads of 5 is nice. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. You've got 2 sources of sticky objective then rather than 1 big one. Yes, it means you're kind of a bit more limited to where you can apply your stratagems, but I do think it's the flexibility that it offers outweighs the kind of benefits of putting a big squad in. So guys, that's all of our battle line then in that case with the 2 squads of 5. Really good. Again, if you want to do Imperial Fists, equip them with whatever you've got, guys. You can give them power swords, you can give them power fists, you can do whatever you want, guys. It's really, the world is your oyster here and that kind of thing. Imperial Fists are they're so tactically skilled, I think, a lot of the time and that kind of thing. The Ultramarines obviously get the whole they're a Swiss Army knife kind of idea and that kind of thing. But I think Imperial Fists, they're the siege defenders in that case. They build the fortresses. So fortresses have to be flexible and they have to adapt as well. Obviously, they have to create the most defensible position possible. But the fortress has to adapt as well and that kind of thing, as well as the men inside it. So guys, give your Imperial Fists whatever weapons you like. I like Power Fists, to be honest with you. I like Power Fists, but I also like Power Swords. So I might mix mine up a little bit and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so from this, guys, that's all of our battle line. So we're going to jump into some of the rest of the other data sheets then in that case. We have no dedicated transports in this list. It is potentially a failing of this list, I think. And it's something I'd probably look to add in for the future and that kind of thing into the kind of rest of this army to get it up to 2,000 points. But I think for 1,000 point games it'll be okay to be missing a transport. I don't think it'll do too much harm anyway. But let's get into the other data sheets then in that case. Potentially my favourite kit, I think, of all time that the Space Marines have brought out here is the Company Heroes in that case. I really like them. The banner is particularly good. I really like the banner, but also the guy that's missing one arm, he's got an augmetic arm. We've obviously got the banner bearer and that kind of thing. It's such a good kit. And then obviously in this kit, by the way, actually as well, so in this kit in the box is your captain. So really good in that sense, because you basically get a captain every time you buy this box. So you can obviously convert him and do whatever you want. But I really like him overall. I think he's really good in that sense and that kind of thing. But sorry, the company heroes anyway is what we're talking about here. So this is a really kind of mixed bag of unit here. I'm not entirely sure if it does any one thing particularly well, but it covers a lot of bases in that case, and it's kind of a good datasheet ability for our captain as well. So let's just go through it. So it is comprised of 4 Space Marines, and they can join our captain, obviously. So obviously we have our banner bearer, we have our company champion, which is the guy with the sword, and we've got 2 company veterans then in that case as well. Each company veteran is equipped with 2 different kind of weapon sets in that case as well. So obviously one of them has the bolt pistol, mastercrafted heavy bolter, and close combat weapon. The other one has a bolt pistol, mastercrafted bolt rifle, and the close combat weapon. So obviously the heavy bolter is the guy with the cool like the Inceptor style bolter, nearly I would describe it, with the shield on the front, with the blast shield on the front. I really like that style of heavy bolter. Looks so good. And then obviously the guy with the augmented arm is the one with just the bolt rifle. The company champion is obviously the dude with the sword. That's not the captain. And then obviously our company ancient then is the banner bearer, which by the way is an amazing banner. I have one of them already for my Crimson Fist. That does not mean I won't be getting another one, to be honest, guys, because I can always do better on the next one than I did on the first one. So, Marine profile is completely standard. 6-inch move, toughness 4, 3 up save, 4 wounds, 6 up leadership, and 1 OC each. Now, their shooting attacks are obviously a little bit varied in that sense as well. The mastercrafted heavy bolter is 36 inches, 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 5, AP -1, and 3 damage. That is a good bit of damage on that mastercrafted heavy bolter, and it's sustained 2 in that case, so that can be quite spicy actually. I didn't realize that was damage 3 and sustained 2. That's pretty good. It's also heavy, guys. So if you stand still like an Imperial fist and defend a location, you will hit on 2s and get sustained 2 on your 6s. So that's very nice, particularly good. The mastercrafted bolt rifle, 24 inches, 2 shots, hitting on 2s, strength 4, AP -1, 2 damage, but it's got devastating wounds and rapid fire as well then in that case. So another good unit for the squad there in that case. The company champion, of course, has a mastercrafted power weapon, which has precision built onto it as well. So he's a good character killer if you want to put him into a character. He gets 6 attacks with that, hitting on 2s, strength 5, AP -2, and 2 damage. Character killer. He is absolutely a character killer. So if you get tied up by something, you know, if you've got Plague Marines, for example, and they're coming at you with character support built in there as well, you can charge these guys into there, although I would really advise that you didn't, to be honest with you, because Plague Marines are really nasty right now. But he can definitely use that precision to cut a character out of squads, no problem at all then in that case. There is also a couple of abilities that are definitely worth mentioning for these guys, and I think this is where this particular unit shines more so than their actual base kind of datasheet lines effectively here in that case. Our base stat line, sorry, is what I was trying to say. So the Astartes banner, which our company ancient has, adds 1 OC to every model in the unit. So that means we go up to OC 10 when we've got our captain in the squad, which is really good. So we're basically like a 5-man intercessor squad. So really good. I think that's really useful a lot of the time. And then we've also got the command squad ability here. And this I think is particularly good, right? So while a character model is leading this unit, each time an attack targets this unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So you can kind of already see we're playing into a little bit of synergy with this list then, because if you remember Lysander, for example, Lysander has that rule: when something higher than his toughness targets that unit while he's leading that unit, they're also -1 to wound. They also subtract 1 from the wound roll. So all of a sudden our Imperial fists are getting kind of harder to kill now. Now these guys obviously have a smaller kind of infraction point, so obviously only anything up to strength 8 will be wounding them on 4s. But I think that's really good. I think that's really tasty. I think with a captain in there, I'll probably throw a power fist on mine personally, guys. But that can become a bit of a difficult unit to get rid of as well, and especially those shooting attacks catch you off guard with heavy and sustained damage 3 heavy bolter. And then obviously the damage 2 devastating wounds normal bolt rifle. That could catch a few people off guard. That won't kill units, but that could soften units up. And then your company champion and your captain go in and absolutely blend stuff. Your captain turns on his finest hour as well. That is how you can blend a squad up nicely with these guys. So I think this is a really good unit. Again, it's in that box as well, so it's got our captain and the 4 Space Marines in it as well, so that's really good. Because guys, at the end of the day, Warhammer's expensive, isn't it? It's an expensive hobby. It's a first world problem, isn't it? But Warhammer is an expensive hobby and that kind of stuff. So if I can try and get you good quality units for discounts and that kind of thing, I will definitely endeavor to make recommendations and that kind of thing. So let's jump on to the next unit. So guys, our next unit for the list is our anti-tank segment of the list then in that case. Now, there might be a lot of clickety-clacking going on. I do hear you. This is probably more of a Salamander's unit than it is an Imperial Fist unit, to be honest with you. But just in keeping with the theme of the Imperial Fist, kind of big tanky units, these guys won't have -1 to wound on them in that case. So toughness 6 can definitely level a bit of a playing field here as well. And also, their anti-tank output is just so good that I couldn't actually leave them out, to be honest with you. We need something in this list. I didn't really want to go for a Dreadnought, because maybe I already did a Dreadnought in the Iron Hands list and in the White Scars list, so I didn't want to go down that route. I wanted to try and find you guys different models, just in case you have like some of those models already. Give you excuses to try different kits and stuff like that as well, if you guys are following these lists. So, let's talk about the Eradicators then. If you guys have watched my previous video for the Iron Hands one, you guys will know that I really like the fact that Gravis is up to toughness 6, and they helped to differentiate it a little bit from Terminators in that case in 10th edition. Really good. I'm a huge fan of that. It gives you that choice, and it makes the choice more impactful, which is really nice. So we've got a 5-inch move, toughness 6, 3 up save, 3 wounds apiece, 6 up leadership, and OC 1. So really good there. We do have the option, obviously, to add a multi-melta into our squad if we want to as well, which is nice. You may look to do that in that case, obviously, just to give you the base profiles of their melta rifles and the multi-melta. So the melta rifle is 18 inches, 1 shot, hitting on 3s, strength 9, AP -4, and D6 damage. The multi-melta is almost identical, but it has 2 attacks on it and it hits on 4s instead. But it does have heavy on it as well. Both of them have heavy on them. So you're paying the price for getting that extra shot, but you know, it's still a 50-50. So if you're rolling 2 50-50s, is it worth it more so than 1 3-up basically? So D6 damage is also good. Very swingy, but if you get close enough that Melta 2 starts to kick in, that will really make a bit of a difference as well. They're not close combat specialists, so I'm not going to touch on their melee options, but I will absolutely touch on their datasheet ability, which is the other reason I added them in here, because it does help to remove some of that issue of the D6. So their datasheet ability is called Total Obliteration. Each time a ranged attack made by a model in this unit targets a monster or vehicle, bear in mind this is our anti-vehicle or anti-tank unit, so they will be exclusively targeting that. You can reroll the hit roll, you can reroll the wound roll, and you can reroll the damage roll. You do not need Oath of Moment on these guys. You just point them at a vehicle and light it up, and that will do the job nicely. You don't need to slap Oath of Moment onto them. You can if you want, but I personally think it's wasted when you're re-rolling the wound roll, to be honest with you. And the re-rolling of the damage roll takes the swinginess of D6 slightly out of the equation as well, and that kind of thing, should you need to do it. So I think these guys could be MVPs in the list, especially depending on whether you're fighting like a 1,000 points of knights, or if maybe there's even like a guard army that you're fighting in, that kind of thing. These guys could do really well in there as well. So this is our dedicated anti-tank anyway in that case. As I said, I know it's kind of quite Salamanders themed and that kind of stuff for Eradicators, but Imperial Fists are about being tough in the lore as well. They're hard to kill, they're stubborn, not one backward step is what they say. So, you know, this would aid us with that big time, and we need anti-tank in our list. Everybody has tanks at some point in one of the Space Marine armies, one or another, or in any other army, so we do like to try and sprinkle a little bit of anti-tank in there from whatever form it is. So Let's jump on to something else though that might be a little bit more Imperial Fist themed. Okay guys, the Inceptors made it into a list. Yes, they did. So for this list, now I don't like to advise people on war gear because you hobby whatever way you like. But if you're gonna go like whole heart Imperial Fists, it's the bolters. It's the bolters. It's the bolters. Now, don't let that discourage you from building plasma. If you like the plasma, build the plasma. Absolutely. Do not let that discourage you at all. You build your hobby whatever way you like, or you can be even cleverer, even more clever, and magnetize them. So that's entirely up to you one way or the other. I actually have my Crimson Fist ones built with a bolter. They are really cool. As I said already, I like the ones with the bolters with the shield on the front of them. The assault bolters they're called. So guys, I just want to touch on these guys' profile because I think it's kind of a little bit understated a lot of the time, to be honest with you. So these guys have a 10-inch move as a jump pack unit, which is really good, so they're fast. We have toughness 6 because we're Gravis. So we're a 10-inch move and Gravis at toughness 6. So that's really fast for Gravis units, to be honest with you. We're literally twice as fast as every other Gravis unit in the Codex. So that's really good. I'm very happy with that overall. 3-up save is fairly standard. 3 wounds, so we can tank a good few shots as well. Damage 2 is not going to kill us in one hit, which is always nice. 6-up leadership and OC 1. These guys comes in squads of 3, which I think is really good. The bolters are good as well, to be honest with you, I think, personally. So the assault bolters then in that case, so each marine is equipped with 1 set of assault bolters, 18 inches, 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 5, AP -1, and 2 damage apiece. So, I mean, they're doing well for killing marines and that kind of stuff. So you've got 9 attacks across the whole squad. Just as an aside note as well, they have the assault keyword, so you can advance and shoot. You have pistol, so you can shoot in close combat. You have sustained 2 in there as well. So much like our company hero heavy bolter, you've got sustained 2. And you've got twin linked in there as well, so you re-roll your wound rolls. So that's a lot of redundancy built into 9 attacks as well there. So, and if you slap Oath of Moment on these guys, as I specified in the Raven Guard video as well, +1 to wound on your Oath of Moment because we're a chapter compliant Space Marine chapter as well, or Codex compliant Space Marine chapter as well. It's a big leveler. We are wounding Plague Marines on 4s most of the time. We are wounding Orc Boys on 3s. So that's really good. It gives us a lot of as I said in the Raven Guard video, and I don't want to hammer on about it too much, Oath of Moment is a great equalizer for Space Marines. It just ups our damage. Where we lack AP, it tries to up our amount of wounds that we get through then in that case. Now obviously you are only AP -1 with the bolters, but let's jump onto the plasma then, and that's where you can get some extra AP out of these. So the plasma is 18 inches, 2 attacks per model, hit on 3s, strength 7, AP -2, and 2 damage. Assault, pistol, and twin linked on these as well, which is very good. That's the standard profile there, so you get your extra pip of AP, but it's obviously at the sacrifice of 1 shot per model then in that case. So again, that's a bit more of an elite kind of killer, I think there. The AP -2 is nice. You can even up it if you want to supercharge it. You do flat 3 damage and it's AP -3, but you make them hazardous then. So you would take mortal wounds on a roll of 1 after you've done your shooting. So the plasma arguably is a little bit more flexible, but the bolters are maybe a little bit more in keeping with the theme of Imperial Fists then in that case. Guys, they have Deep Strike as well. You know how much I love Deep Strike. So good. So good. You know it's one of my favourite rules in the game. You know I love a cheeky Deep Strike later on in the game. Their datasheet ability is excellent though, and this is what I like actually about them, and I've used this to good effect in a couple of games of mine that are around about 1,000 points as well. So the ability is called Meteoric Descent. In your movement phase, when this model is set up in the battlefield using the Deep Strike ability, it can perform a Meteoric Descent. If it does, this unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 6 inches horizontally away from all enemy units, but until the end of the turn it cannot declare a charge. So if you're trying to clear some chaff in a backfield, or somebody snuck to your backfield and you can't get there quick enough, these guys Deep Strike in, spray and pray with the bolters. Spray and pray with the bolters and you'll cut through them no problem at all. You probably don't need to charge most of the time anyway by the time that it's done. Also the plasma exterminators are good if it's maybe a little bit more of an elite target as well. So these guys are really good. The fact they can get danger close as well is good as well, in case you need a specific secondary, or just to even try and get the most out of your damage as well there. That's really good as well. Take cover out of the equation by getting close to them, and then your AP -1 maybe doesn't hurt quite so much either. Okay guys, last but certainly not least by any stretch, we have the Terminators. We have 10 Terminators in the list. This is Lysander's retinue here basically. Guys, we know what Terminators can do. They've got power fists, chain fists. I'll run through the profiles and that kind of thing, but I think we all know about Terminators now after the start of 10th edition. So just to give you their profile, 5-inch move, toughness 5, 2 up save, 3 wounds apiece, 6 up leadership, OC1, and invulnerability save of 4. So that's good. Extra tanky, as I specified with Gravis as well. I like that the invulnerable save and the 2 up save differentiates them slightly from each other, which is nice as well. Obviously these come in 5s and Gravis come in 3s as well, then as a base size as well. So, but we're going to go with a big 10 here, so that Lysander's got a good bodyguard. So we have 10 Terminators and Lysander at toughness 5 each, and they won't be wounded by anything up as high as toughness 10 on anything better than a 4. So they will be hard to shift. The whole unit can obviously deep strike as well, because they are of course Terminators. We can rapid ingress as well if we want to get onto the teleport homer as well for 0 CP, obviously using their unique teleport homer ability. And of course, let us not forget the other datasheet ability, which is the other one that I like, which is Fury the First, which is each time a model in this unit targets your oath of moment target, add 1 to the hit roll. So you basically make everything hit on 2s. So that'll be really good. Very, very strong. I really like them as a unit. I love Terminators, to be honest with you. I don't think there's a Space Marine player that doesn't, to be fair. Just to touch on their ranged options as well, we have the Assault Cannon for your, obviously, your chaff killing there with the devastating wounds. Your Cyclone Missile Launcher as well. Then in that case, I'm going to put the stats for these on the screen, guys, here. So if you're having a look there, I like the Cyclone Missile Launcher that you can swap the profiles as well, which is good. We can have both of these in the squad as well, because we're obviously having the big 10 man as well, which should be really good on top of all of our Storm Bolters. Chain Fist versus Power Fist is a good argument. I'm not entirely sure which is obviously the right way to go, to be honest with you. I prefer Power Fist because I fight more non-vehicle armies than vehicle armies, so it's not that I'm teching towards it as well. Actually, it's just also I just like the Power Fists, to be honest with you. I just like the way they're modeled as well. Plus they look really good when I paint them red for my Crimson Fists, and it's got 2 red fists then in that case, and they're really noticeable without the chainsword blade on it coming out of them. So guys, that is the list. As I said, these are Lysander's bodyguard here, and as I said before, by the way, the whole of this army pretty much comes from the Imperial Fist Combat Patrol as well, if you're interested then in that case. So the guts of it come from the Combat Patrol. So obviously you get the company heroes, you get 5 of your 10 Terminators, and you'll get all 10 of your normal intercessors in that case. And of course you get your captain as part of the company heroes as well. So you probably get over half of this list just in this box, which is really good. So the only thing you have to get left then is Lysander himself. You have to get eradicators, and you have to get Inceptors. So that's not too bad at all, I don't think, guys. But let me just summarize this list very quickly, and then I'll just kind of jump into my closing bit that I always do. So we have Darnath Lysander leading 10 Terminators. We have a Space Marine captain leading company heroes, 2 squads of 5-man intercessors, 3 eradicators, and 1 unit of 3 Inceptors then to finish us off then. So guys, that is 1005 points. As I said, I cheated a little bit with this one. It's slightly over the 1000 points. But as I said before, Lysander's in this one. I didn't have to worry about, recommending, Vanguard veterans like I did in the last one, guys. I was really concerned about that, to be honest with you. But yeah, overall, and I was delighted I could recommend a discount box. I don't normally get to recommend them, so that was really good. I really enjoyed this list, actually, in that case. This was actually an easy list for me to put together, because it's what I want as a Crimson Fist player. This is I am going to go and buy one of these combat patrols, and I have a lot of these units in my Crimson Fist army already, so it's what I recommend to other people from trialing them. But guys, let me know what you're thinking about this particular list. Do you like the new Lysander model? Are you going to use him as your warlord? Are you going to paint him in any of the other chapters? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you can. It costs you absolutely nothing, but it really does mean the world to me as I'm trying to get the channel to grow as well. I'd love to dedicate more time to making some content. But thank you very much. Goodbye.